The 2024 Formula One season has become a must-watch spectacle, with 7 different winners emerging from the first 14 races. At the season opener in Bahrain, such thrilling competition seemed improbable as Red Bull crushed the opposition, leaving them trailing by tens of seconds. However, F1's intense development race has dramatically shifted the landscape, injecting real uncertainty into every event. In the following sections, we examine the upgrades made by each of the top 4 teams during the first half of the season, revealing how the 2024 Formula One campaign has sprung to life. Ferrari entered the 2024 season as Red Bull's closest contender, though still far behind. The team started strong, with a Ferrari driver accompanying Red Bull's duo on the podium in the first 2 races. Then, at the Albert Park circuit in Australia, Carlos Sainz made a stunning return from appendicitis to lead a Ferrari 1-2 finish after Max Verstappen retired due to a brake issue. The Spaniard continued his impressive form with another podium in Japan. However, from the Chinese Grand Prix onward, McLaren took over as the main challenger to Red Bull. Ferrari had high hopes for a major upgrade at Imola, which, despite being downplayed publicly, was anticipated to deliver a significant performance boost akin to McLaren's leap in Miami. Although there was some improvement, it wasn't enough to challenge for victories. Any doubts raised by the underwhelming performance at Imola were temporarily dispelled by Charles Leclerc's triumphant victory at his home race in Monaco. On the tight and treacherous streets, the Monegasque driver's Ferrari was unmatched, earning him his first-ever win on the streets of Monte Carlo in front of his home fans. But the celebration was short-lived. In Canada, Ferrari's performance plummeted, leaving the team with no points after a series of mistakes. A rushed upgrade package was supposed to turn things around in Spain, but instead, the car slipped to 4th fastest, unveiling a new and concerning problem. The aerodynamic upgrade, intended to enhance aerodynamic efficiency, introduced severe bouncing in high-speed corners, shaking the driver's confidence. The team reverted to its pre-Barcelona setup for the British Grand Prix at the Silverstone circuit, but this decision cost them significant ground in F1's relentless development race. A revised floor debuted in Hungary to address the issues from Barcelona, but it only confirmed that Ferrari had fallen to the 4th spot in the pecking order. In Belgium, Charles Leclerc managed a brilliant qualifying lap in wet conditions, securing pole position after a penalty was applied to Verstappen. However, Ferrari's race pace was again lacking, and the Monegasque driver finished 4th, later elevated to 3rd after George Russell's disqualification. The season began in a familiar manner, with Red Bull and Max Verstappen cruising to comfortable victories in the first 2 races. At the season opener, Verstappen finished 22 seconds ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez, and a week later in Saudi Arabia, he maintained a solid 13-second advantage. Despite Verstappen's dominance on the track, off-track issues overshadowed his early success. The first sign of vulnerability appeared at the Australian Grand Prix, where Verstappen retired due to a brake fire. However, Red Bull seemed untroubled as Verstappen secured a 12-second win over Perez in Japan, following the team's first significant upgrade of the season. Similarly, in China, Verstappen had a 13-second margin over Lando Norris, reinforcing the team's confidence. But the dynamic shifted when McLaren introduced a major upgrade in Miami. A timely safety car in Miami handed Norris the lead, but it was McLaren's pace that caught Red Bull's attention. Red Bull responded with their own significant upgrade in Imola, but the race exposed the first real limitations of their car since the introduction of ground effect regulations in 2022. Verstappen's struggle over the curbs in Imola saw his once comfortable lead nearly vanish, resulting in a surprisingly tight finish against Norris. The Red Bull's weaknesses, particularly its difficulty handling curbs and bumps, were fully exposed in Monaco, where Verstappen could only manage a 6th-place finish behind all 3 of Red Bull's main rivals. These issues persisted in Canada, though Verstappen skillfully navigated them to secure a remarkable victory in mixed conditions. Another upgrade in Spain brought him a narrow win over Norris, but by then it was clear that Red Bull's development plan was not yielding the same benefits as those of its competitors. The team has not won a race since their Barcelona triumph in June. Several factors beyond pure performance played into the next 4 races, including Verstappen's clash with Norris in Austria and an engine penalty in Belgium. However, the minimal gains from a major upgrade in Hungary have left Red Bull concerned about the rest of the season. Perhaps more troubling than Verstappen's challenges are Perez's struggles with the car. The 34-year-old Mexican has accumulated only 28 points over the past 8 races, allowing McLaren to close the gap by more than 6 points per race since Miami. If the current trend continues, McLaren could easily surpass Red Bull to claim the constructors' title. McLaren's season began with doubts about whether the team could maintain its momentum from 2023, especially after a slow start. However, these concerns were decisively addressed with a major upgrade introduced in Miami. Since then, McLaren has averaged 30.25 points per race weekend and has secured podium finishes in 10 consecutive races, beginning with the Chinese Grand Prix. The upgrade in Miami was transformative, sacrificing some of McLaren's high-speed dominance for improved performance in slow and medium-speed corners. This strategic trade-off paid off, as evidenced by McLaren's first one, to finish in 3 years at the Hungarian Grand Prix. Team principal Andrea Stella credited the car's exceptional handling in the medium-speed corners of the Hungaroring for the dominant outcome. Although the team missed out on potential points at the Canadian and British Grand Prix due to less-than-ideal pit stop timings, and in Austria following Norris's clash with Verstappen, McLaren's overall car performance has established it as a serious contender for the Constructors' Championship. While Verstappen's Red Bull is blisteringly fast on certain tracks, McLaren has shown itself to be a more versatile competitor, with a broader range of circuits where it can deliver quick lap times. Moreover, McLaren's development strategy has outpaced that of Red Bull, enabling the team to close the gap on F1's dominant force and even take the lead in some areas. The beginning of the season for Mercedes felt all too familiar, as George Russell and Lewis Hamilton struggled to secure double-digit points at most events. While the team had made some progress over the winter, it had only managed to establish a new baseline, while its competitors advanced with significant performance enhancements. Mercedes continued to grapple with challenging handling issues. Efforts to address slow corner oversteer through setup adjustments often led to sudden oversteer at high speeds. Conversely, attempts to fix this problem introduced time-consuming low-speed understeer. Neither driver felt fully comfortable with the car, and despite several upgrades, its inconsistency from session to session seemed to worsen. By the 8th round in Monaco, Mercedes hurriedly produced a new front wing. Although it appeared to be a minor upgrade compared to the more extensive changes made by other teams, this wing was critical in improving the car's performance and balance. Since only one front wing was ready for Monaco, Russell was the only driver to use it. The benefits were noticeable but not dramatically impactful on such a low-speed circuit. However, at the following round in Canada, Russell qualified on pole and achieved a podium finish in a race Mercedes could have won. Hamilton then secured a podium in Spain, and Russell capitalized on the Norris-Verstappen incident in Austria to deliver Mercedes' first victory since Brazil 2022. With additional wins in Great Britain and Belgium, Mercedes has triumphed in 3 of the last 4 races leading up to the summer break, and the car's performance now stands in stark contrast to the struggles of the early 2024 season.